Who else here thinks Warner Brothers version of DC Comics characters is just a jumbled mess right now? You're not alone. From the start, it was kind of a experimental kind of series of projects. From Man of Steel, we get this version of Superman who's more broody like Batman, which I didn't mind really. I mean, as long as he develops into the Superman we know and love from the comics, who's more upbeat and positive, uh, more of a I don't know, more of a Boy Scout. That's why they call him Boy Scout all the time, the big blue Boy Scout. And then Batman, we've gotten so many iterations of in just the last the last decade. Oh man, the last couple of decades. Um, See, I love every iteration of Batman, even the old Adam West one. I still like that. Just because Adam West was such a legend of a man, and all those freaking the villains in that series were just unforgettable. Man, Frank Gorshin as the Riddler and Burgess Meredith as the Penguin are the best in my opinion. And just yeah, I loved seeing, well, hearing Adam West voice Grey Ghost in the Batman animated series. That was awesome. But Warner Brothers as a company has just been disjointed when it comes to these properties because they have no idea what to do with them. Like right off the bat, we got that one Superman movie, okay, and then we throw Batman in the second one. Everybody was super hyped for it. Like the hype could not be higher, and it came out. Shit, I can't remember what year that came out. I think 2004, 15. Shit, it was either 14 or 15. I remember seeing that in the theater and being super confused. I could just tell like a lot of it was cut out. Like, some scenes were they just didn't make sense because there wasn't context for them, you know, like there wasn't a thorough line it seemed. And then when I watched the extended version of Batman v Superman, it all made sense, and I could see what Zack Snyder was going for, and actually kind of liked it. Like even Lex Luthor, Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, who a lot of people did not take to, I still found fun to watch, and I'll still find them kind of fun to watch on repeat viewings. Um, then we got, what did we get after that? Wonder Woman, I think, was the next one because she showed up in Batman v Superman. So, and that movie was really good. I liked it. A lot of people didn't care for the third act. I still, I did not mind the Ares was just like mostly CGI. Like, I don't see. I don't mind if if the main characters I I enjoy watching. Because Chris Pine was awesome as Steve Trevor, and then Diana, of course, was awesome. Then we got, let's see, was Suicide Squad the one after that? I liked that. I know it has problems. I know it has a lot of problems, but I still like my Suicide Squad. Man. I got into the comics, started reading those, the New 52 Suicide Squad. I need to read some of the older ones because I'm sure they got some gems. And what else after that? I can't remember when Aquaman came in because we had, yeah, there haven't been that many of the, not nearly as many as the Marvel movies. Like how many movies in 10 years for Marvel? Like 22, something crazy like that. And DC has just been like hit and miss, hit and miss. You get a hit with Joker, it makes $1 billion, and it has nothing to do with the other movies. It's just this standalone character study of a crazy person, like going even crazier. uh, then Aquaman is just this fun like adventure romp. which I really liked. I love the visuals. Like I love him. We finally get to see him fucking swimming on a seahorse like he did in the old cartoons. I thought that was, and he looks badass though in that costume. Like he's the only one I think that could pull that off and not make it look stupid. And then James Gunn does his Suicide Squad movie, and I think that he knocked it out of the park with that one. Like it was way superior to Ayer's version. Just because you can lean into the blood and guts and stuff and the humor, just like the comics, the newer comics at least were very bloody. Like King Shark was ripping people's heads off and stuff. And it's just bonkers. And to see Starro in live action, that was something I never thought we'd see. Like he was the first villain that the Justice League fought in the comics. But let me get into this article because it goes into a lot of the things that I wanted to touch on, and like I can maybe jump in with a couple of things that I've heard. How Warner Brothers Discovery can rebuild DC movies and challenge Marvel, according to a comics industry insider. So this insider, he's anonymous, didn't want to give his name. As Warner Brothers Discovery looks to put its stamp on Warner Media assets, the newly formed company has made DC a priority. The comics and entertainment giant is responsible for some of Warner Brothers Discovery's most prized IP, from Batman and Wonder Woman. Yeah, you wouldn't put Superman there? Oh man, I thought he was. Well, I don't know, whatever. But on the big screen, movies based on DC characters, which are released by the Warner Brothers Film Studio, have been inconsistent but both critically and financially. And yes, that is true. Some of them have been hits and still not very very critically acclaimed, like Aquaman. Like did it make $1 billion? I think it did. Yeah. Joker was both critically and financially acclaimed, so far as I know. I mean, I know a lot of news outlets were trying to say that it was like one of those kind of movies that. See, they try to say movies will make people go crazy, but people are already crazy to begin with. Like, nothing has, some people just look for an excuse to go out and shoot people. Like, there's, a video game, a movie does not make people do that. I'm sorry if that offends you. The Warner Brothers Discovery CEO, David Zaslav, would like to change that. Yes, they've been reshuffling for years. Like, they get new bosses and then they're out within a couple of years. Walter Hamada was the last one. Jim Lee, I think he's like the creative head or something. Variety recently reported that Zaslav wants to revitalize underused characters like Superman. See, he's only quote unquote underused because you don't have the right writers working on the movies. Like you can find a plethora of writers in the comic book industry, veterans that know this character like very well. Like shit. I know Jim Morrison wrote for Batman, but I'm sure he understands Superman inside and out. Like a lot of these guys do. Jim Lee, I don't know if he's written anything for the movies. I don't think he has. Like Jeff Johns, I know he writes a lot for DC, especially the series like Flash and whatnot. But yeah, it's like it's like they try to cheapen out a lot of times. Like we'll hire somebody uh like like you like you're an up and comer, right? Like you want to work for DC, right? Yeah, yeah. This is a dream job. Okay, I'll come in. I'll take whatever paycheck you want to give me. All right, thank you. Do you know how to write though? Sure, I guess. And then you find out no, they can't write for shit. I mean, and then a lot of times you'll have too many people writing on something. It's like you either have a team of writers that do not even look at each other's notes, or you have one guy who just has no idea what he's doing. He's got his thumb up his ass. Oh well. Maybe one day Warner Brothers slash DC will get it together. We'll see. DC based film production will be a distinct division within the Warner Brothers Picture Group under new co chairs Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdi. Never heard of either of them. Are they competent? Who knows? We'll find out, I guess. Will they last? Who knows? We'll find out, I guess. Walter Hamada, the current president of the DC Film Division. Okay, so he's still president of the film division. The CEO of the entire thing, Warner Brothers Discovery, is David Zaslav. Okay, we've got that. See, I wasn't clear on that. Now I am. Will either of them last in the job? Who knows? We'll find out. So Hamada could be ousted, according to Variety and the Hollywood Reporter. Oh shit. One comics industry insider who wished to remain anonymous to protect business relationships says the key to DC's Hollywood success is to land on a strategy and stick to it. Yeah, no shit. You've seen Marvel doing that for years. Like they've had success. I mean, it's starting to go off a cliff right now, but maybe they can course correct. Who knows? Without getting sidetracked by what Marvel is doing. See, you've paid too much attention to what Marvel's doing and not just stuck to your own guns. Like, have a plan and stick to it. Have a good plan and stick to it. See, but you can always start out with a shitty plan and then course correct. Like, not by just looking at what Marvel's doing. Okay, not by just saying, hey, look, they made a team up movie with some bad guys. Why don't we do that? Like, it should be cool, right? I mean, sure, one of your Suicide Squad movies was really successful, and the other one made a lot of money, but not as much probably as they were looking for. Oh yeah, that's right. The second one didn't even do that well. I mean, it was well received, but it still didn't do well. They put it on HBO Max at the same time as the theater release, and yeah, that took big chunk of change out. Uh, and to remember what made the characters like Superman popular in the first place. Yes, remember your fan base. Like they will often tell you what you need to do, like to make a successful movie. Like they're not always right. I know that, but a lot of times they do know these characters better than you do. DC has been reacting to what Marvel's been doing, said a comics industry source close to DC. Marvel did this, so they felt they had to do something else. I hope the new regime is more proactive. They have to trust their characters. Now, see, Marvel is kind of falling into this trap too, where this Aquaman movie came out before Namor ever even appeared in the Marvel movies. So now they're not even making Namor an Atlantean, just because it's been done before already cinematically. But you see, they could still do that. I mean, they'd run the risk of people comparing it to Aquaman, but you can still make your own aesthetic that'll work it, with your universe and still be unique. You just gotta have creative people working on your project. DC movies should be connected. By the way, Namor was like the first Marvel character ever introduced in the comics. Him and Human Torch, so I'm told. Yeah, for them not to even introduce him until like what, like the fifth, or no, that's the fourth phase. Yeah, at the end of the fourth phase, because Black Panther is supposed to be the closeout of Phase 4. Yeah, it's crazy. DC movies should be connected without sacrificing the filmmaker's vision. This wouldn't be the first overhaul for DC movies in recent years. Justice League, which was meant to be WB and DC's answer to Disney and Marvel's Avengers, disappointed at the box office, prompting a pivot away from a Marvel-like cinematic universe to a focus on standalone stories. Yeah, just the whole thing that happened with Justice League was Zack Snyder had a vision. He had to step away when his daughter tragically killed herself, and the studio went ahead with the movie anyway to get it out in time for Christmas so they could all get their bonuses. So what they had was Joss Whedon, the director of the Avengers, come on and finish the movie for them. So that's why you got all uh, these jokes in these marvelous jokes that just did not fit in with Zack Snyder's movie at all. Like, it was completely disjointed. It came out looking too bright and upbeat for what Zack Snyder had going on. So that's why when the Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League finally came out, they finally released it on HBO Max. It was, still keeping in with Zack Snyder's vision. He actually had a whole arc planned out in three movies where Batman would sacrifice himself, and like Lois actually had his child. Like there was a lot of, if you read the script, like there's a lot of shit that he had going on in this movie. Like, and more with the alternate reality that we got caught in the epilogue of Zack Snyder's Justice League. But uh, it seems like Warner Brothers just gonna abandon the Snyderverse, to many fans' chagrin. the the comics industry source thinks that DC's future movies should have some connectivity to best translate the comics universe on screen, but not at the risk of personal storytelling. See, yeah, you can still do these standalone stories, and it wouldn't hurt anything because they do this in the comics all the time. The one shots, the alternate reality stories, the Elseworlds stories. He noted the difference with the MCU is that it feels like a showrunner's vision because the films are all connected. Yeah, you see, the thing with the MCU is it worked for the first couple of phases. It's starting to get more disjointed now because there's way more cooks in the kitchen, and nobody's, like, people aren't adhering to the rules of other shows or movies. Like, you got a multiverse story in Loki that has nothing to do with the multiverse story in No Way Home or in there's another one in Multiverse of Madness. See, you got Kang and Loki, and Kang never shows up in either one of those. like he's supposed to be the one, create who created this whole multiverse, and and then Eternals. You have these celestial beings who are never mentioned in anything else. So it's like you have all these earth-shattering kind of storylines going on at the same time, and you're wondering, like, why aren't these superheroes involved in this story at all? And why aren't, it's just gotten very, very convoluted. Like, this is why multiverse is just it's a neat concept on paper, but then when you try to translate it to the screen, you can just start confusing the hell out of everybody. Even on paper, you can confuse the hell out of everybody, and then just make them not want to tune in anymore, just because it's gotten to be too much to keep up with, and like nothing seems to matter anymore. You got your Infinity Stones, which were a huge part of the Avengers storyline. Now they're just paperweights in somebody's desk. Like, nothing matters anymore. Uh, I hope they can balance between auteur filmmaking and a cohesive universe. Yeah, you always hope that. See, I thought the Shazam movie, the first one, was really good. I'm not sure about the second one, how this is gonna go. I thought it was a good balance of humor and darker elements. Like the guy who directed the first Shazam, he has horror background, so that's why you get the Seven Deadly Sins and those creepy ass scenes where they're tearing into people and stuff. Those horror movie looking scenes, and then at the same time, you got this upbeat, this kid character who is like a purely good character, fighting bad guys. I thought it was really fun. And at the end, the end battle with all of them together, becoming superheroes, I thought that was awesome. I really loved that movie. If they could give us more movies like that, where it's just pure adventure and like good characters, you know, then more people will watch. Like, it's I don't know. Marvel had it down pat, and DC just doesn't seem to be able to get it. The Batman, while I enjoyed it, I know why a lot of people did not. It's very dour and it's very, very grounded, like even more grounded, I think, than the Dark Knight trilogy, which I don't think they need to go that grounded. You can still make this like comic booky and it would work. Like it worked in the comics for years and it worked in the Batman animated series. Like people still fucking love that. If you would just adapt the Batman animated series into live action, like people would watch the shit out of that. I don't know why they can't understand that. DC and Warner Brothers will likely continue to tell standalone stories for the foreseeable future, though, as a sequel to the Batman, along with an HBO Max spin-off series, have been greenlit. Yeah, that's gonna be okay. I heard about two spin-off series, one about Penguin, and then one about the GCPD. I don't know if that one's still greenlit. For sure, the Penguin one is coming out sometime. And a Joker sequel is in the works. Yes, I heard the Joker sequel is supposed to be a musical. Like, what? That was my reaction at first, but like then I think about it, it's like, okay, he's in an asylum. He's gone completely nuts. Maybe this could work because Harley Quinn's supposed to be in it too. Freaking the singer is playing her. Lady Gaga. She's supposed to play. She's supposed to play Harley Quinn in that. That should be interesting. I trust the director because that first one was fucking awesome. The upcoming Flash movie, which I am very trepidatious about, could provide some connective tissue, though, as it introduces DC's multiverse and features multiple versions of Batman's. See, if they only do the multiverse in this one movie and then never do it again, I'll be happy. Like, let's stay away from the multiverse right now. Like, you don't even have to introduce it really, because you could just do the separate versions of these characters without even introducing the multiverse because we've already done that with the Joker. You know, it's completely separate from anything. It's set in the 70s. You know, I mean, why not? Why not do you can do this Flashpoint movie, but you don't even have to like reboot anything. You just come out with another Flash movie with a different guy playing him. Who cares at this point, DC? You're gonna have multiple versions of Batman in this one movie. You're gonna have Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton. I don't know if Pattinson's gonna be in it or not. Probably not. They're probably working on that second Batman movie. I don't know. But now I'm hearing that Batman. Okay, yeah, Michael Keaton Batman is also supposed to be in the Batgirl movie, and Ben Affleck's Batman now is rumored to be in the Aquaman 2 movie. Because they'll right now Warner Brothers is just desperate to get anybody to watch Aquaman 2. If freaking Amber Heard is still in it. I'm not sure if she still is or not. Hamada, the DC-based films chief since 2018, has found success with moving away from interconnected movies. Some films since Justice League have been hits like Aquaman, Joker, and more recently The Batman. Others were critical. The Batman, it didn't make as much as they wanted to. They wanted it to hit a billion. It made like 600 something. So I don't know if I'd call it a hit exactly. Not like not Aquaman and Joker level. Not exactly. Others were critical favorites like Shazam and the Suicide Squad, but had tepid box office results. Yeah, Shazam was just like most people do not know who the hell Shazam is, and then they saw that like it was a kid, and I guess they got turned off. They're like, "Yeah, this is for kids. This isn't like gonna be a serious movie like the other ones." But it definitely had its serious moments. And then the Suicide Squad was dropped on HBO Max. I don't know if they should have done that. Yeah. Overall, DC's movies haven't delivered the same reliability as Marvel's, and now Hamada's job could be in jeopardy. Yeesh. Zaslav wants to find his version of DC's Kevin Feige, the Marvel Studios president and Marvel creative chief. Yeah, That's part of the problem. They've never had somebody with a creative vision. Zack Snyder, they kind of had one, but they they weren't too, they didn't seem too keen on his vision. Like, seemed like they wanted to bury it, and still do. The most prominent name that comes to mind for the comics industry source is Jim Lee. He's a big Batman and like just general DC Comics writer and artist. He was actually at the Dallas Fan Expo. I think there was just another panel on at the same time as him that I wanted to go to. DC's current publisher and creative chief, yeah, that's Jim Lee, someone of similar stature with a deep knowledge of the DC universe who can build a rapport with creators. See, if they, I don't know, if maybe they had him writing for these Superman movies, like they get a better response. I like Walter very much, and I'm not certain he couldn't be that person. The person also said, yeah, okay, so we're still got this insider talking. He's done remarkable things, but there's always a desire to find a savior. I think it's more about making a decision to march forward in a certain way and sticking to it. Yeah, just like I said. Just find a plan and stick to it. Stick to your guns, Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers and DC want to figure out Superman. Yeah, I don't know why he's so hard for them to figure out. He's this purely good guy who just wants to do right. He's this farm boy from Kansas who dresses up in this red, white, and blue outfit and goes out and fights crime. I don't know why that's so hard to figure out. He's also in love with this reporter, this ace reporter named Lois Lane, who also has a friend named Jimmy Olsen. He's a photographer. Neither of them know who he is. Or you could just have them know who he is. It doesn't matter. As long as the dynamics of the characters are still the same, you know, and his morals are still the same. See, I think we would have gotten that Superman if they had let Zack Snyder continue on with his vision, because Superman was still, this was still his early days. Like, he's still figuring out how to be this beacon of hope. You know, the symbol of the House of L means hope in Zack Snyder's version, which I thought was a good addition to the lore. Yeah, I just like that idea of the symbol meaning hope, and I feel like I've been rewatching Smallville, and I feel like that's been touched on a couple of times of him just being the symbol of hope. You know, that's why like when he dresses up in the trench coat and puts on the symbol, he's leaving the symbol with his heat vision all throughout the city. You know, just to inspire people, to let them know there's somebody out there helping them, keeping them safe. Yeah, Superman and Batman have always had different ways of going about fighting crime and, you know, and saving people, but they've both been effective in their respective in their respective um can't think of the word. You know what I mean. Director Zack Snyder rebooted the character. Yeah, see that's going into with Henry Cavill in Man of Steel. And Henry Cavill looks the part, for one thing. Man, he looks like fucking Superman. If you wanted to just rip the guy off the pages of the comics and put him into the real life, the real world, he would look like that. He's even got the fucking chest hair. And he made a point of not shaving it too when they brought him back, you know, from the dead, because when Superman gets brought back from the dead in the comics, he has all this chest there. And Henry Cavill knows that shit because he's a comic book fan. This dude's a real nerd, and we love him for it. Yeah, we followed it up in 2016 with Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, which I still like, the extended version. But those movies were criticized for their brooding take on the character. Yeah. And after the Justice League debacle, yeah, that's all on you, Warner Brothers. Cavill's iteration was seemingly abandoned. Yeah, that's a fucking shame too, man. Cavill is perfect for the part. If they would just give him another movie with somebody like Brainiac or I don't know Lobo for the villain. See, we saw Lobo in Krypton, and he looked meh. Get somebody huge and beefy to play fucking Lobo, man, and make him a badass. I'm trying to think who else would be good. I don't know. If we got if you give Lex Luthor another chance, Jesse Eisenberg another chance, maybe put him in the mech suit. Who cares? I had some action figures sitting around of villains I'd probably like to see, or heroes I'd like to see. Like, oh, Steel. We got Steel in live action in Superman and Lois. Like at first they were calling him Luthor, and then turns out he's actually John Henry Irons. Okay, okay, he's Steel. Cool. Hey, he looks like him. It's awesome. He's got the big ass hammer. Supergirl. I've always liked Supergirl. Friggin' uh, the one who plays her in Smallville, I really like. Laura Vandervoort. Yeah, Vandervoort. That's it. Yeah, always wanted to meet her. Yeah, about this Black Superman movie. I think they're doing two of them. Like one with, I think one's supposed to have Michael B. Jordan, and then this other one is written by Ta-Nehisi Coates, who is, just look up some of the things he said in interviews and whatnot. This guy is not right for this. Not at all. Like, he's just going to make it super political, and he's probably going to make Superman like anti-American. Because just look up what Ta-Nehisi Coates has said about the first responders on 9/11. Like, he does not actually like this country, and Superman's supposed to be the all-American hero. It's truth, justice, and the American way. I know DC recently has tried to change that to truth, justice, and a better tomorrow, but people will still say truth, justice, and the American way is Superman's motto, and it always will be. I'm sorry. That's what Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster started out with, was this character who's proud of being an American, because they were. These guys were Jewish, and they were proud to be American. I don't understand why DC Comics has tried to steer away from that. I just don't understand it. You're an American company. You should be proud. You even have a platform to say or do things like this. Uh, it just frustrates me. They should trust the goodness of the character. Exactly. This character is supposed to be purely good. He's the ideal man that we all aspire to be. That's why they called him Superman. They should trust the goodness of the character and not question whether the audience will respond to that goodness. Yeah. Yeah, if you're constantly questioning what the audience how the audience will respond, then you won't be able you're just shooting yourself in the foot. You won't be able to think on your feet creatively. You won't be able to get your vision like to its full potential if you're constantly worried that there's going to be backlash, there's going to be all this shit. If you're actually putting good product out, then you shouldn't have to worry about that. You should stand by your product. And I don't even like calling it product. It should be art. And Richard Donner knew this. He directed the 1978 Superman movie and understood the character like very well. You can tell when you watch this movie. He's a beacon of hope, like I said. And Tim Burton for sure understood Batman. Even Christopher Nolan, he understood Batman. That's why those movies were so well received. But it all starts with the comic books, which lay the groundwork for Warner Brothers' DC film franchise. The comics division encountered immense disruption during the pandemic, including heavy staff cuts and print reduction. Yeah, the comic book industry was already kind of failing, and the pandemic just exacerbated the problem. It's like it's gone downhill in recent years. The manga is outselling American comics by thousands. Um, the only time recently that I saw one of American comics on the actual top selling list was when a Batman comic had a Fortnite code in the in the comic. Like that's the only way they can get kids to buy that shit now, or anybody. Like not even the older comic book collectors are even collecting now the newer stuff. It's all trade paperbacks, older stuff like archive stuff. I've been getting the Superman and Batman Chronicles. I know there's some Flash ones too. I need to get those, and Green Lantern. I don't know if they've done other characters yet. I'm gonna have to look up. DC's comics line has since been dominated by the Dark Knight and related characters, leaving little room for other characters to shine. DC has doubled down on key characters like Batman since the reduction in 2020, said Milton Greep. Is it Greep? I guess. The founder and CEO of ICV2, an online publication that covers the comics business. Yeah, they've doubled down on Batman because he's still the most popular character. he's his he has multiple titles going all the time. Maybe 10 titles in the comics. That's why we've seen so many fucking movies with him because people will always go out and see these movies. Like he just people just gravitate toward this character because he's just some guy who just happens to be rich and his parents were killed in front of him and it changed him like forever. Like he will never be that little boy again. And he he's just uh, he's fucked up in the head. Okay, I'll say it. He's on this vendetta. He's obsessed, and he fights all these crazy villains who actually they kind of reflect different facets of his personality. Like Joker is just like the flip side of him. What what he could be if he just crossed that line and went nuts. Riddler offers a an intellectual challenge to him. Brings out the detective part of him, and Bane is just that pure uh, physical contest. Different villains bring out different facets of his personality. As I said, somebody I think it was there's a documentary called I can't remember what it's called, Forever Evil or something, about the different villains of DC Comics. It's really good. It's really good. I highly recommend. A lot of different comic book writers and creators were in it. Even Zack Snyder, Jeff Johns, and whatnot. Jim Lee. Yeah. It's damaging to long-term IP development. Yeah, yeah. The comics industry failing. Yes, it is. Sorry. Still, the other comics industry source said the future of DC movies is bright. Yeah, if you can just stop trying to do what Marvel is doing and just do your own thing. Like you had a good thing going when you did Aquaman and the Joker. They came out around the same time. But see, the problem with DC right now is their actors. You got Ezra Miller with a shit ton of problems, and you got Amber Heard. You all know what I'm talking about. Just cut her from the movie completely. Ezra, you got the okay. Flashpoint is gonna be a multiverse thing anyway, so you can just reboot Flash, just have somebody else play him, and problem solved. With the other actors, I don't think there have been problems. Henry Cavill, he's been cool to come back on board as Superman, and like I don't know, I guess they don't want him anymore. They're just gonna renegotiate with somebody else. Maybe he's asking for too much money. They don't want to pay up. Who knows? That's one of the rumors going around is that he's just asking for too much. But I don't believe that. He's been wanting to play him again. Like he's just he I think he said he's just waiting on the phone call, and they don't want to call him. Warner Brothers, what the fuck are you doing? The library has limitless potential. There's a reason why you can wear a Superman S anywhere in the world, and people know exactly what that means. See what I said? These characters are bigger than the actors. But Henry Cavill's still perfect as Superman. Fucking bring him back. I see nothing but opportunity. Yes, and there are so many characters they have not even tapped into yet. Like we're finally gonna see. Well, Doctor Fate was on Smallville, and he was awesome on there. Fucking awesome on there. I'm getting into that. I'm on season 9. I'm doing my rewatch, and I'm on season 9 now. So I know he shows up in that one because there's a whole Justice Society arc where he shows up. Oh man, this is such a great two-parter. I can't wait. The Wonder Twins even show up in this season. That was awesome. That was funny. So, I don't know if you noticed. Well, I got a Funko Pop of them. I don't know if you can see it. Probably not. Oh, yeah, that was super random. Always been a huge DC fan, and I'm always glad to see these characters come to life. Like when Ben Affleck played Batman, I was like, holy shit. This is like you know, the ultimate Batman. Like he's got all the toys. He's got he's got his rogues gallery villains. Like we get the little penguin reference. We get Joker reference, and we see him in Suicide Squad, of course. But I really wanted to see Batman versus the Joker in this version. Maybe oh well. But we'll see. We're supposed to see him in Aquaman 2. I don't know what role he's gonna have though. And then we're supposed to see him in the Flash movie. I don't know what role he's gonna have in that either. We'll see. These trailers haven't given away too much yet, and maybe that's for the best. We should go in blind, probably. And yeah, I'm happy to see Doctor Fate in the movies finally. I wish he'd have just got his own movie. To be honest, like we could have just had a Black Adam movie and Black Adam just be on his own. But they're sticking all this Justice Society stuff in here. I really would rather just see a Justice Society movie. Oh man, like get the old Green Lantern. See, there's a version of Green Lantern in the Justice Society who has like a cape. Pretty cool costume. It's like purple cape. The green domino mask. Or no, was it a purple domino mask? I think it was purple. Yeah, and then a lot of green. And see, these characters get referenced in Smallville. Some of them, and then some of them show up. Like Stargirl shows up. She's actually like this. She was the sidekick, I think. The sidekick's daughter. I don't remember her relationship to Stripes in the show. They changed it, I think. But but yeah, Hawkman is badass in Smallville, and I'm glad we're getting him in live action too in the movies. And what else? What else? What else? What else? Oh yeah, the Sandman. Yeah, Sandman was one of them in the Justice Society. The original Sandman, the one with the like gas mask, which Neil Gaiman kind of referenced in the well, he had sort of a mask like that in the in his version of Sandman, which I love. Also, I still think Fables is better though. That's a great fucking comic book series. Fables. It's like Once Upon a Time but better. All these fantastical characters, from different stories living together, and they yeah, you gotta check it out. If you haven't before, you gotta check it out. What else? What else? What else? I think that was it. Yeah, that was it for this. Yeah, but I'm still looking forward to these two movies, Aquaman and Shazam. I mean, not Aquaman. Black Adam. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna see Aquaman. If Amber Heard's in it for even a nanosecond, I don't know. I don't want to see it. Batman, yes, I will always be down for a Batman movie. I'll go see it opening night every time. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck who's playing him. It's Batman. Shit. You never know what the hell's gonna happen in a Batman movie. Because you got all these fucking characters. He's got the best rogues gallery. You never know who's gonna show up. And you never know what gadgets he's gonna use too. Like the Batmobiles, I always love. Like even the one in this, which looked more like an actual car. I still loved it. Like that chase scene with Penguin, I loved. Yeah, there's always standout scenes in a Batman movie. Even in Batman v Superman, that warehouse scene was badass as fuck. Like people will come away saying, like, okay, that actually was awesome. Yeah, more of that, please. Thank you. And yeah, just Penguin in these Batman movies. Oh, we've never had a bad Penguin, in my opinion. Like Burgess Meredith, fucking Danny DeVito, I loved, and then Colin Farrell, man, and Penguin in Gotham is awesome too. Robin Taylor, Robin Lord Taylor, man. Oh my god, that dude is awesome. I liked seeing him pop up in that John Wick movie for a second. I was like, what? Look. And then I don't think we've ever had a bad Riddler either. I love Jim Carrey's Riddler. Like, sure, that's probably nostalgia talking because I was like maybe 8 when that came out, something like that, or 7. Yeah, I want to say. Oh no! I was like 6, I think. But yeah, I've always been a big Batman fan. Superman 2, I love Superman. I got that Christopher Reeve action figure. That's gonna be in my house until I die. And I have Batman's probably the character I have the most figures of. Now that I think about it. Yeah. Uh, I, I, shit. I want to be excited for Aquaman. I really do. It's like just get rid of her, man. You know she's a PR disaster. Just get her out of the movie completely. Oh, frick. They just they chose wrong. They chose her over Johnny Depp, and now they're gonna suffer for it unless they get rid of her. I mean, they already suffered for booting Johnny Depp from Fantastic Beasts. Saw how that went down. Hmm. So what else do we have? Okay, I mentioned Batgirl. We still don't know much about that. We saw a photo of her. I believe that was from the movie, unless they're doing a series too. Who knows at this point? How many series are they doing? They're still doing Superman and Lois. I don't think it's been canceled. Um, yeah, the GCPD they might still do, but that Penguin for sure is gonna happen. And the CW shows, Supergirl ended, I believe. Flash, is that ending? I think it is. I fell off on the Flash, man. It just got to be too melodramatic for me, and the writing just suffered because of it. Uh, I want to watch. I'm going to watch Doom Patrol because I've heard that's really good. And Stargirl, I liked the first couple of episodes. I'm gonna have to finish that. There's 2 seasons now, I believe. I'm just way behind on everything. I've been just rewatching shit that I like all the time. I rewatched Gotham. I'm rewatching Smallville. Uh, Watching old cartoons like Wacky Races, random shit like that. Oh, and then I'm doing these passions reactions, which some people have responded to. Just a few. Uh, but oh well. DC, I love you so much. Why can't Warner Brothers just get it right every time?